My name is Sophie. I'm originally from France, from Burgundy, so like an hour from Paris. I grew up there. I studied hospitality in Burgundy as well. Very quickly, I started to work doing season in Corsica, in Burgundy, Loire Valley. And one day I decided I have to improve my English, so I came for one summer in Ireland, and this was 10 years ago now.
And you fell in love?
And I fell in love very shortly after, so with my now husband. And a few years ago, we decided we'll try, and we opened Homestead Cottage now, 3 years ago. We had a child, she was 2.5, and I was fairly fully pregnant. So when we opened the doors, Iris was 2 weeks old. So for 6 months, she was actually serving with us as well in a baby carrier. When Michelin star inspector came, she was serving people. So, well, I never really knew what I wanted to do. None of my family is in the business neither. We do cook a lot. It's a big thing, like big Sunday lunch. Like my grandparents, they are living in very rural Burgundy as well, so you have lots of gardening. So like food was always here, but I never knew that would be my career as such. So yeah, it was a bit of a surprise, we'll say.
And did you fall in love with the cottage here the second you saw it?
Yeah. Robbie came first to visit because, as I say, I was like actually like at the end of my pregnancy, and he was like, "Oh, come have a look. I think you'll love it." And I agreed. Like we loved it. It was a bit of work to be done. I'm looking on, but it was a bit of cleaning and everything. So we had all the family coming over from Scotland for Robbie's family. My family from France came as well to help. I think we opened. I think in 6 weeks, a month or 6 weeks, we opened the doors. So yeah, it was love at first sight. I think we did hope, but we did not hope. We didn't thought it would be this quick. As I said, like Michelin star, we came when a few weeks. I think October was the first visit, so we were open only a few months, and we had the Michelin star like 6 months after in February. So this was like super fast. We never thought that. So when we opened, we still had like the old shares from the cottage. It was a cafe before. So we had the chairs from the cafe. Nothing was really Michelin, this is for Michelin. Like the plates were like almost like dunce plates, things like that. It was like, we have to open. That's what we have. We'll use it, and that will do. And so now we just improve, and
Growing up in France and to Ireland, how would you compare hospitality in France to Ireland? Difficult question.
Sure, you might have to cut that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. I don't know. I guess it's very hard to answer as well, because I did learn my work in France, and when I arrived here, I have to relearn as well. Like, it's different. For example, very stupid example is my first time in Ireland, when a customer asked me, "Oh, what's your name, by the way?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm in big trouble." Like in France, if someone asks you for your name, you're in trouble. And here it's like, "Oh no, we're just being nice." So it's kind of like relearning everything. It's very different, I guess, mentality with customers, So that would be my biggest thing. Like, you had to readjust a lot.
When someone comes in here and when they leave, what do you want them feeling when they leave? What is that one thing?
Like, I think when they leave, I want them to be like happy, of course happy. Like, we want them to feel like they did leave, they did had an experience. We are working for them to have an experience. It could be like coming for a birthday, anniversary. We want them to remember, oh yeah, they did this, we had that, like, I don't know, the little flower on the table, we have a little hot towel when they arrive. We want them to remember all the small details, not like obviously the food. I'm not saying because the chef is here, but we want them to remember the food, but it's a package, you know. It's like you're not coming to Homestead just for the food, if I might say. It's like for the whole experience, you know. Like we have a beautiful setting, the staff is amazing, the food is amazing. So we want them to be like, yeah, you know, we had an experience, we did live something nice. Like that's what we're trying to do. Like.
How do you balance the having such a young family and?
Oh, we don't. We survive every day is a new challenge. Like in fairness, well, at the moment I'm still on maternity leave, so it's a bit easier. You know, I will do like all the administration from home. Robbie is mostly here. Otherwise, like you need to build your village, like because we don't have family nearby, so we need to have very good friends. You know, be able to like. Very last minute, oh guys, can you look after the kids for 2 days? You know, like, it's, yeah, I'm sure like we're not the only ones, like it's, yeah, surviving. Every day is a new challenge.
And as a career, what makes it special? What do you love about it as a job?
First, like, yeah, I guess like working together, I think it's really nice. We do work very well together. We're a great team, you know, we don't need to talk too much, you know, we kind of know which direction to go, we are talking. I think we're not too bad to leave like work issue at work, I think. You might disagree, I don't know. Like, I think it's, to us, you know, it's a bit of, it sounds very cheesy, it's a bit of a dream. Like, you know, we are very lucky to work together. This is our career. We are learning every day. We are learning together. From the mistake we do, we learn. From the top of like, you know, when it's successful, we do learn something. Every so often we're like, can you believe we are here today? You know, we are very good to keep each other down as well, I think.
So much has happened in those 3 years. How do you see it going and what do you hope for the future of Homestead Cottage?
Ideally, yeah, like keep doing what we're doing. We're doing well. We know, you know, we're good at what we're doing. So I hope that we develop ourselves, but still be very sturdy. You know, like, yeah, I think what we're doing very well, with no pretension. You know, like, I don't try to be like, yeah, we're very good, but we are. Once Robbie said, you know, like sportive, the top of their career is an Olympic game, and I think in the hospitality, Michelin star is the top as well. You know, you achieve something. And after it's like to try to keep that top, it's hard. It's everyday work. Like every day we are thinking, are we doing great? So hopefully in 10 years, 20 years, we'll be still here thinking, are we still doing okay? The right thing, you know, like.
What makes Homestead Cottage so special? What makes it different?
Well, I think first of all the location. You know, we are very lucky. It's a very unique location, like the views, the settings, the cottage itself. Then after, just before I mentioned our team, I think they are bringing something very special. All of them, you know, they have something different. And obviously, well, the food, you know, like, you know, it's a good blend. Like it's just playing all perfectly together.
Yeah.
The right people with the right food in the right location. I think that's awesome.
My name's Robbie McCauley. I'm the chef and owner of Homestead Cottage. I'm originally from Edinburgh, but been living over in County Clare since 2013. Since I was a child, we've always been coming to Clare. Mum's from just outside of Ennis, Bearfield, so we'd spent a lot of summers around here on holidays. 1st July 2023, we opened the doors here.
Did you always want to be a chef?
I think, like, I'm very lucky that I have two parents who especially at the time were very into food. We've done a lot, like they were good to bring us travelling, so spent a lot of summers in Italy as well, you know, where I think they've just an amazing culture for food over there, and produce and, you know, showcasing it all. So yeah, like we were always, you know, big meals and, you know, especially anytime we were celebrating, it was always ended up being our own food. So I think when I was about 15, 16, I'd looked at either going, when kind of, you know, the school choices came out, was either, going doing the chefing professionally or else going to university to do engineering. At the time then the crash came, so it worked out maybe well for me that I decided to go down the chefing route. I walked into a kitchen at the age of 17 where there was 56 chefs, doing everything from fine dining restaurant, a brasserie, a lounge, banqueting, in-house butchers. It was a massive pastry team. It was, I think in London at the time they still had not a lot, but they still had a few of those kind of old style kitchens where like big brigade system and everything was done in-house. Which is sad now at the moment. You see less and less places doing it.
Do you think we as a country appreciate careers in hospitality enough, and what more could we do?
No, definitely. Look, I definitely think it's not pushed enough from the education side of things, especially. And I think it's maybe not just hospitality, but for me, hospitality is, it's a career that can take you anywhere. You can travel the world. There's so many different outlets for it as well. And I think chefing, yes, that is maybe seen more as a career, but I think front of house is really underappreciated. There isn't enough training being given, and if you go over to France and Italy, there's colleges that are especially for trading up and producing the next level of sommeliers, chef de rangs, all the waiting staff, all the way up. And, they're very well respected jobs, a restaurant director or a restaurant manager in 1, 2, 3 Michelin star restaurant in France is an incredibly well respected job. Whereas here, you don't see it as much. I definitely think Stefan in Guibo's probably sets the standard, of, and he's really brought that professionalism to Patrick Guibo's especially, but to the hospitality industry. But I think it's taken a while for it to really trickle down. And like I said, look, it's a fantastic industry. You can really grow in. You can learn so much. If you're passionate about food, there's no point lying about it. Yes, it's hard work. Yes, there can be long hours. I definitely think it's far better culture and place to work now than what was 20 years ago.
Is there something special about the produce here in Ireland, both from land and the sea, and are we promoting that enough, and should we be doing more?
We have a climate which lends itself so well to growing and farming. When it comes to vegetable growing, especially, we have fantastic climate for it. People are getting disjointed with seasons and with seasonality and stuff, and I think it's something that really we should look at more and more. We're very lucky. We grow a lot here. We've 3 acres, probably about 3.5 acres in total where we grow on, which is a lot. At this time of year, probably 80% of the produce that you'll find in the kitchen of the vegetables will be coming from what we grow. Some days it's even more. I think that's something we really need to try focus on, especially beef and lamb. You go to any country in Europe and you look at the best of the displays, whether in Paris, across France, in Italy, Irish beef is always displayed as the best, and it's something that maybe we should shout more about. I think it's one of those things that we've actually become so used to it, such a high quality, that now we kind of no longer see you don't see the wood from the trees, that we don't see just how good quality is. I think people would be quite surprised if they saw how much Irish beef is making on the continent in comparison to what we're paying for it. It spends all of its life outdoors. Most of the time now, especially with the high temperatures in the summer and across mainland Europe, most of them animals will be kept indoors because it's simply too hot. I've yet to see a farmer around the barn having to bring cattle into sheds. They might need to sometimes give them a bit of water, but that's it.
Yeah.
We're blessed with that.
The importance of that, where the produce comes, it's all local. How important is that for a customer, do you think?
I think sometimes maybe we don't make enough of it because I find that we don't want to overwhelm people. I think the taste of the produce that we're growing speaks for itself. Even something as simple as a carrot. So when we're pulling carrots out, the smell of them, the sweetness of them, they're being used, 2 days max. Or at the moment, say tomatoes, we're picking tomatoes in the morning, they're going on that evening. People, they notice it, they really do notice it. Like I said, maybe we should, we do obviously let people know we have a small garden at the restaurant, but it's a lot smaller than what we're growing on most of the time. So, but people do come to us for that reason, for the fact that we are producing our own produce and highlighting what's best around. And obviously, we can't do everything. We have to search out local suppliers and local growers and artisan producers. Within this county alone, the likes of St. Ola Goat Cheese, Cratloe Hills, the guys on Luogh Farm, the charcuterie they're producing, all these, are fantastic. Really are fantastic produce, and we're proud to be serving them. Yeah, there needs to be more of a culture of, of promoting the people who are doing the growing. At the end of the day, by the time we get the piece of beef, the farmer spent 3 years. We probably have it for the last 3 or 4 days, and cooking it, serving it, and we're getting all the credit. Whereas realistically, there's 3 years hard work gone in, and I think it's kind of getting people to understand exactly where their food comes from.
When you came here first, did you fall in love straight away with the cottage?
Yeah, I think it's a bit unique where we are, and I think that to us is a lot of the charm. There's a lot of people come here and they're like, oh, it's like my grandmother's, but what that is exactly what hospitality should be. It's that warm hug of making you feel relaxed, making you feel at home, and I think someone's grandmother's is where you probably feel most at home. So that. And we've, doing it in here was definitely a risk. We never opened thinking in a million years that we'd end up where we are now. But I love the fact that we're doing it in a cottage that's so unique to this area. This whole area, obviously the Cliffs of Moher, but the Luke flag, the scanner flag is famous. And this is exactly, what's on the floor, what's on the tiles, on the roof, is the flagstone. To be doing a tasting menu in an old cottage, you see it sometimes over in the UK, but we didn't feel like there was anyone doing it here. You look at Rob and Chestnut doing it in an old pub, I think it's really cool. And I think it's paying homage to what was there before you, but trying to put your own stamp on it. Obviously, Sophie's French. Okay, all right, my family's from here, but as you can hear, I'm not from here. So it's that's it. And yet we're doing it in, like you said, what's probably most quintessentially west coast of Ireland building you'll find.
When people come through the doors, obviously Sophie's out the front and you're in the back, putting it all together. How would you find that dynamic working with your wife, Sophie?
Yeah, I think sometimes we can butt heads, but no, I think, to be honest, look, we're pretty good. We've worked together before this a lot. I think we get on, we see each other's where we have strengths and weaknesses, and we can work on that. And also, look, I think sometimes it's easier because a lot of times it's harder, but sometimes it's easier because at the end of the day, you both want the best for not just the business, but for each other. And something, we always try to get chefs to help serve. So I'd be out here sometimes, when it comes to serving some of the dishes or finishing dishes. And I think customers quite like it then when, it's the both of us. Or, sometimes after lunch, when we're finishing the last few tables, Sophie might come with the kids. I think it's, and like we said, when we took over here, everything here, we can't pretend it isn't, it's, a palace, it is a cottage. It's the same with this whole restaurant. We are a young family who has a restaurant, and at the end of the day, maybe that's what makes us a bit different. Is the fact that we've no problem with the kids coming in, and
How difficult have that been, raising a family like that, through the first week or two of opening to right up until now?
Well, yeah, I think the first few weeks it wasn't too bad because we were so quiet. We were really lucky with neighbours who helped us, looking after kids. Like for a good few months, Iris was here every service, either with Sophie or sometimes in the kitchen with us. But look, we just you need to do what you have to do, and adapt and change. And we've been since we opened, we've been very strict that we only open 5 days a week in the summer and 4 in the winter, and that everyone has the 2 days or 3 days off. And while it's great for all the staff, I think it's really important for us so that we can make sure that we have at least 2 days with the kids and stuff.
6 months after you'd opened, you received your Michelin star.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Yeah, it was a bit mad. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, crazy. We definitely didn't open with any expectations of it. We had found out once they put up on social media that we'd had an inspection, which was great, to get so early on. And then afterwards within the space of 6 months, we'd been, they'd said we were one of their favourite openings, dish of the kind of month, whatever it was at the time, won the star and then got one of their favourite dishes of the year. And I think that was I definitely would be one of the people who suffers from imposter syndrome, so that was a real kind of boost. And look, it was fantastic. Look, it was fantastic for us, it was fantastic for the local area. The more that's here and the more that it's well known for food, the more it'll spur more people on to do it, to come out and set up, showcase what there is. It was amazing. Something that was amazing as well to be able to do it with Sophie. That we done it on our own. Like I said, we opened with a shoestring budget. We didn't have we've never had any investors or anything, so it's been it's been tough from the get go, but it was hugely rewarding to get as quick as we did. Was
inspirational to others though.
Well, maybe. Yeah, look, behind it all, there was tears and sweat and everything else that went into it. But it was. We don't take it for granted anyway, that's for sure.
What does Homestead Cottage mean to you today? However you want to think about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're only here just over 3 years, so it's still a very young restaurant. But I definitely think it's, for us, it's continuing on that thing of being a family restaurant at the same time, and I think that's what it means so much. We've some staff who've been here now with us since the beginning, who've gone and come back, and I think the fact that they've come back kind of shows that we're doing something right. The accolades and everything are fantastic achievements for ourselves and for the rest of the team, but we want to be a restaurant that stands the test of time, and we'll have to wait and see. And maybe we've 3 kids, and with all the negativity about hospitality at the moment, it's a career I'd love for all 3 of them even to get into. I think that would be, and especially to be doing it outside of cities, to be able to show that you can open a restaurant when everyone else doubts you. No, but open a restaurant doing something that you wouldn't normally see out in rural Ireland, and manage to for it to work, and to be able to employ people year round, and that to me is a big